Welcome to Common Sense Coalition Talk Radio, where you'll find straight talk from people with good old common sense.
I trust your opinion.
And now, for your host, she's putting sense back into nonsense.
Absolute insanity.
Well, you can hear me on the radio. You want to turn me on, turn on your stereo. You can sing along while they're playing our song. How you done me wrong, baby, crank it up.
And now, your host, Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. We're going to have a different show today, so I want you to put your thinking caps on because we're going to have a little fun. We're going to have some trivia, and you're going to get to win something. So I want you to put your thinking hats on. It is said that the truth will set you free. When we are educated and informed with the truth, we can make much better and smarter decisions and or conclusions. We'll have better discernment regarding matters. And today, all we hear is a lot of screaming and chaos from the right and from the left. But why? Why? The arguing is nothing new. Our founding fathers, they debated heavily, numerous times, over many things. Wouldn't you have loved to have been a fly on the wall in Independence Hall? If you remember from some of our shows in the past, the special shows that I do for you, it was not just days, but many weeks of debate and arguing over the devising of the document that would determine our form of government. Finally, Benjamin Franklin, an old man now, took the floor and reminded the convention of the need for prayer. That need is still here today. We will not talk about the bombs today, and it is heavy on our hearts. But we do need to be praying for this nation that is so divided. I believe we are divided out of somewhat ignorance of who we are, not knowing where we're going, because we've forgotten from whence we came. Today's show isn't about the left or the right. It's about who we are as a people. We the people. We get on the air here a lot and we express a lot of opinions. But opinions matter very little. It's the facts that truly count. We complain about the education system from time to time, but what do we do to help, to assist and improve? After all, it is our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. Shouldn't we be involved in a positive way? We are to teach the children well, to raise them with truth, equip them with the facts, prepare them for the world, and help mold them into good citizens of their communities. Make them good fathers, good mothers, good sisters, good brothers, good neighbors. But today's show, it's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. And a bit of a test for you as my listeners. I have no doubt that you will not fail. The founders of the board game, the Constitution Quest game, are our guests today. We're going to ask a few questions. We're going to talk about the board game, how it came to be, and what benefit it is to you, to your children, to our school system, to your organizations that you belong to, different things that you can do. You call and give us the correct answers. We're going to throw out some questions here later on in the show. And then we're going to put your name into the hat. Actually, it's my blue popcorn bowl here in the office to be drawn out, and you will win. We're only going to give away one Constitution Quest board game. But if we get pretty good, I might throw something into the pot too. Dave and Pam Barrett will be joining us right now. We're going to talk about the Constitution game, the history of who we are, how we can prepare better our children and ourselves, arming us with the truth and the facts and not just a bunch of opinions that Beth Ann gives every day. Dave and Pam, welcome to CSC Talk Radio.
Oh, thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
Oh, it's
Thanks
good
for
to
the
have you.
invite.
Oh, you're more than welcome. We'll have to do this again. I got a feeling it's going to be a big hit. So we're going to have to do this again. But we don't want to give all the answers out or all the questions out. Then they won't have any need for the board game. I doubt that because there's just too many things to remember. I'm certain that you did. I'm old enough that, and I guess they still do, before you could ever graduate high school, you had to pass a Constitution test. Did you do that as well?
We did, in 8th grade, we had to.
Okay.
And some states right now, they do require either to pass in 7th grade to go on to 8th grade, or obviously to pass before graduation.
Okay. And Dave, what were you going to say?
Oh, it's of course in high school it was a big part of our government classes, and I think that. Even for colleges, there's many colleges that have a requirement as well, and there's something called the CLEP test in different subject areas. So many of the college students will prepare with our game in order to challenge their government requirement. So depending on the level, sometimes, like Pam said, it's 7th or 8th grade, or it might be high school, and even for some colleges, a college requirement.
Well, we do need to educate the children, but we need to brush it up ourselves. I had to take it twice here in the state of Missouri. You also had to do the Missouri Constitution. But we had to take it in junior high and then again in high school, and you did have to pass it before you could graduate. And that was a fun class for me, but you did have to pass before you could graduate. So I'm not sure what they do today, and that's really not one of the questions we're throwing out there, but it is something that we should know. My kids are all out of school, so I'm not sure what the rules or laws or procedure is now in the state of Missouri. I know they vary from state to state, but we did have to learn both the Missouri Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. So,
well, I think it's also a information and curriculum that upper elementary schools need as well. So upper elementary, it might be 4th or 5th grade, depending on the school or the homeschool or charter school. And like Pam said, 7th or 8th grade, depending on that particular state. And, of course, a requirement for high school. And many of the advanced placement students, it's a major portion, the knowledge of the Constitution in order to pass that test as well.
Well, I do think that a lot of the arguments that go on today, at least with the average American, I won't even, I call them DC occupiers occupying office and cutting deals, and I'm talking about the left and right, both. But, with average Americans, sometimes I think we just lack the knowledge and understanding of what the Constitution actually is. Many think it's an out-of-date document. I do not believe that in myself. I think we've made some amendments that we shouldn't have made. But I don't believe it's an out-of-date document. But I think maybe it's an misunderstood document because people don't study it and don't quite understand what their rights are or where they came from or exactly what it's meant to be. So the founders had quite a job putting the Constitution together and bringing a nation, that were just these wild little colonists out there and bringing them together as a nation. They had quite a little job on their hands. Don't you think, Dave?
Well, I believe they felt it was their responsibility. If they were going to this new experiment on people self-governing, then we the people had a vital role in that self-government. So they needed to know and they needed to share the fundamentals of our self-government in order to do the best job possible. And they wanted the citizens to be educated on that process so that they could keep our elected officials and even unelected officials accountable, let alone vet them properly, to gain their vote. So it's vital, and you mentioned that it's become kind of passé. We feel that we've let it get dusty, and some people almost trash it. And yet it was, with the Declaration of Independence, it was, one of the two documents that were the blueprints to our greatness.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to let it go.
We're headed into a break, so I'm going to cut you short there. I apologize for that. But we're going to let you go. We're headed into a break. We're not going to take any phone calls until after this, and then we're going to start with some questions. You're listening to CSE Talk Radio. Write the number down, 877-895-5410. We will have some trivia today, and somebody's going to win the Constitution Quest board game. It's a beautiful game, and we will be right back.